wish these buttons had pretty little pictures. I don't like reading, man. That's too much work. I need pictures. Who has used Font Awesome? Font Awesome. Only a few. Yeah. Well, we're going to learn about it. So Font Awesome is an icon font. Basically, it's a font that uses some of the extended Unicode characters. In other words, characters that don't already have some other representation. And just puts little pictures in them. And there are a whole lot of icons in it. Now, there are many, many, many sites that use Font Awesome, so your icons may look like everybody else's. It comes with a lot of the popular frameworks like Bootstrap. But we can also just add it ourselves. And if you have nothing better, it's not too bad. So why a font? Because, well, look how smooth those look even at that size. Fonts are vectors as opposed to bitmaps, which means they're not defined pixel by pixel. They're defined by math, by the shape, like something you would make in Illustrator or Sketch or something. So they scale and always look smooth, which is just what we want, because if people make then yes, they have stuff like the Pied Piper logo and goofy stuff like that. If people increase their font size, we want the icons to stay looking good. So we'll use it. Let's look at the list of icons. And I suppose, what happens if we hit download? Will it just download immediately? Well, here we go. Thanks to Mac CDN for providing the excellent Bootstrap CDN, the fastest and easy way to get started with Font Awesome. Let's click on Get Started here. Remember CDNs? Your email address. Really? Yeah, or, you could just rely on your Uncle Dave, who's already used this before. Oh, I did download it last time. You know what? We haven't downloaded anything yet like this. We haven't downloaded any third-party code. We've always used a CDN, so it might be good practice to learn how to do it. So, okay, this time we'll download it. I forgot we didn't do that with Foundation itself. So we'll download it. Before you download it, blah, blah, blah. Let's just do it. Just download Font Awesome 4. So if we do that, we'll see this. A CSS folder, a fonts folder, a text file, and some less and SCSS. Less and SCSS are things that compile down to CSS that let you do some things like use variables, which are coming in CSS but not widely supported yet. And use indentation instead of curly braces optionally, stuff like that, and let you nest rules inside each other. That's the biggest advantage. So when you have parent relationships and stuff, you don't have to keep writing the parent over and over and over with every new rule. But all we really need are the fonts and the CSS. So open up your project folder for this. I'm going to just type open space dot. I think start space dot will do it on Windows. If not, you can always, in Visual Studio Code, right-click on any of these and say Reveal in Finder or Reveal in Explorer, and that will open the containing folder. And I'm just going to copy the fonts folder right over. I'm holding down Option on the Mac, so I copy instead of move. So now we have a fonts folder. Let's look at the CSS folder. Okay, it has the non-minified version and the minified version. Minified is good enough for us. Difference in size. Not minified, it is still only 37K, but the minified version is 31K. Doesn't save us a whole lot with something as small as Font Awesome. Something like Foundation, it saves us a ton. So whatever, it's up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder in here called CSS. And I will just drag one or the other in there. And then we need to add that CSS. First, let's look in our tree to make sure they're really there. Yep, they're really there. You see the fonts, there's actually a lot of files here. So these are web fonts in various formats because different ones are supported different places. There's a new major version of Font Awesome coming very soon, by the way, that is a little better in terms of both accessibility and performance. It uses SVGs and stuff like that a little more. So, if we go to index.html, up with our links to style sheets. Let's just add one for Font Awesome. I'm going to put it before app CSS. Again, so that ours is the very last one, so we can override rules if we want to. So just add a link. rel equals style sheet. href equals CSS slash Font Awesome min. CSS. So since I have that CSS folder there, it makes sense to move app in there as well. So let's do it. When we only had one style sheet, there wasn't much sense, but now that we have two, let's go ahead and drag app CSS in there and update our link accordingly. And with any luck, our styles will still be there. Yep, we didn't break that link. And if we look at the Sources tab, under the CSS folder, we should see both app and Font Awesome if we didn't mess up that link. So now Font Awesome is there. Let's use it. Now that we've downloaded it, let's see the list of icons. Whole bunch of them. You can search through them. So, what do I want to do first? How about the remove button? Place it with a trash can or something. Let's search for trash. Sure enough, that actually gives us not only a couple of trash cans, but some things that are similar. Other things you might use for a remove icon. Trash versus trash O. I think trash O looks a lot better. So how do we use that? Let's go to the HTML of our remove button. Here it is. Right now, what we have inside the button is just the word remove. So now we're going to add an element here. And we're going to use the I element, which is semantically meaningless, actually. It's something that Netscape added way back in the day for italics, before they standardized on the EM for emphasis, because italics is totally presentational. So we'll use I, and we'll give it a class first of FA. So in that Font Awesome style sheet, there's a rule for FA that tells it some stuff. And then we'll also add a class corresponding to the specific icon we want to use, which was trash O. So that class is called fa-trash O. O for outline. Oh, that's true too. Click. Yeah. Ah, see how even at that size looks right. So FA and FA trash O, and actually it gives you this for accessibility too. So we may as well include that. That's right underneath. To improve accessibility, we recommend using ARIA hidden true to hide icons used purely for decoration. That way, since there's no actual text here, a screen reader won't read it. Now, that could also be problematic. If you click on the accessibility page, you see other suggestions, because you might want to make sure that if they can't see the icon, it does read like the word remove or something. So the accessibility page here tells you a little more about that and other things you can do. And the new version of Font Awesome is a little better in this regard, but you can actually do it. The CDN has auto accessibility, which is nice. Or manually do it. Hidden true, blah, blah, blah. And then the actual text. Well, anyway, there are other things you can do, but this is a good start. I'm not going to get into quite all of that. Oops, that's another attribute on the eye itself. No contents, nothing between the opening and closing tag. So the class of FA, the class of FA trash O. And let's see what we got. Yay, little trash icon. I'm going to inspect that. Moving right along. Remember, if you inspect something, you can see what its CSS rules look like. So we see FA assigned some stuff. Among other things, it told it to use Font Awesome as the font. And we don't see, actually, that FA trash O did anything. If we expand this, we see this thing before. If we look at that, we see there's a rule for FA trash O colon before. And then it tells it content this thing. So that's a Unicode character. You can use content to actually insert content that wasn't in the HTML. You can actually add stuff to the DOM this way using CSS only. So that is the particular Unicode character in Font Awesome that that trash icon occupies. So before kind of looks like a pseudo class, but it's actually a pseudo element. And it's things like before and after that let you basically create an element that isn't really there immediately before or after another element. So 2 colons rather than 1, although 1 colon also does work. You might use 2 colons just to make it unambiguous. But that's just the details of how it works. As far as we're concerned, it's just magic. And we get a nice trash icon. So for fave, how about a star? Let's see what we've got. Star. Oh, there's all kinds. Ooh, you could use these for ratings. See? To rate your Goldblum movies. Which do you like, filled in or outline? On that button. Star. No outline for us. We're hardcore. What would Dio do? So an I with a class of FA and FA-star. And we will add ARIA hidden as well for the sake of screen readers. Very good. Refresh. Yay. Boop, boop. Now, I don't love the blue, to be honest. Because move up and move down are going to be blue too. And I'd just rather they not be the same. So back in Foundation land, On buttons, you may remember there were the different colors. Warning is pretty good. So if I just throw warning next to fave and button warning. Too darn close, isn't it? Needs a border. Oops. Well. I'm okay with blue for now. We won't put those right next to each other, maybe. Or maybe we will. We'll deal with it. Okay. So the add button. Add flick is awfully verbose. For our add button, here it is. Instead of add flick, let's add another font awesome thing. Oops. And let's just type add and see what we got. Address cards, plus circle, plus square O, plus square, etc. Plus seems all right. FA and FA plus. Remember, multiple classes are separated by a space inside the class attribute. Refresh. Yeah. It's not so bad. All right, that's pretty good. So again, we downloaded Font Awesome. We added its CSS and its fonts to our project. We made sure to link to the CSS up in our head. We did it after Foundation, but before app CSS. And then we used it in a few places. So among other things, makes those buttons not nearly as big, although there's an awful lot of padding around them. All right.